Hi all, welcome to my channel again. So in this session I'm going to discuss about accessing data in the persistent volume. So in the previous session I have explained you all about what is a persistent volume and how to create a persistent volume step by step. So once so before watching this video, please go through that video so you will get a better understanding of what is the persistent volume and how PVCs got created, what is the difference between the PV and PVC. So in this session I'm going to explain, like, since I am explaining the persistent volume task here. So I'm going to just give a just the introduction part of a persistent volume, like what is it exactly, and then I will move on to like accessing how to access this persistent data volume. Persistent volume data. So that is a one task which I will show you in this session. So please watch until the end. And if you want to check out this blog, you can check that from this link which I will be keeping in the description box. So let's start now. What is the persistent volume in Kubernetes? So I have already explained this in the previous session, but here I will give you just the overview. Like persistent, um, so persistent volumes are administrator provided volumes. They have predefined properties including file system size and identifiers like volume ID and name. So persistent volumes are predefined. They are like administrator provided volumes, whereas persist and they are independent of the life cycle of the pod, meaning that even if the pod shuts down, the data in the volume is not erased. Since it is independent of the life cycle of pod, the data will not get erased. That is what I'm going to show next here. So, so it will store the implementation details of storage, like such as the NFS file shares, specific cloud storage systems, etc. can get stored here. For a pod to start using these volumes, it must request a volume by issuing persistent volume claim. So in order to use this volume by pods, we must need to request persistent volume claim. So in short form, we can say PVC. PVC is describe the storage capacity and characteristics a pod requires. So you can see here, this is the persistent volume is not a pod level, whereas PVC persistent volume claim is a pod level. So PVCs describe the storage capacity and characteristics a pod requires, and the cluster attempts to match the request and provision the desired persistent volume. Okay, hope you might have got it, like what is a persistent volume in Kubernetes. Let's see how we can access data in the persistent volume. Accessing data in the persistent volume. So this is the task. Navigate to the inside of the pod, any of the pod, and create a file in the pod. So kubectl exec hyphen id, and this is the pod name, hyphen hyphen bash means it will give us the privilege to use the bash inside the pod. So using this command we can go inside this pod. So when we can first we are checking the present working directory, then we are going inside this directory to create a file. So this is the file name. So when we give ls, then you can see we have the file and the content of the file. To see the content of the file, we can give cat file.txt and we can see the content. So since we have created a file inside the pod using this command, now we can come out of this pod and check whether this will exist or not after the deleting the pod. Now delete the pod by deleting the deployment and check if the file in the new pod is created after applying the deployment again in the server. Okay, let's check this. First, we are deleting the deployment YAML using this command kubectl delete -f and the deployment YAML. This will delete the deployment YAML file. Then again, we are reapplying this YAML apply -f deployment.yaml. Then the new deployment got created. Since the new deployment got created, pods will restart. Pods will run automatically when the new deployment will get applied. And kubectl get pods is the command to access the pods. So here you can see we have two pods. Here we have created our file in the to-do deployment. So we for that we can go inside the pod and check whether that file is present or not, since persistent volume is all about whether the pod exists or not. The data should remain constant. kubectl exec is the command to go inside the pod, and bash will give us the privilege to run the commands inside the pod. Then we are going inside this directory and you can see the file is there and the content is also there. Then we can exit. You can see that file remains intact, and so even if the pod gets deleted somehow or in case of any mishap, the data persists. So that is all about the persistent volume claim and how we can access data even if the pod is deleted and created again. And that's all. Thanks for watching until the end, and if you want to check out this blog, you can check that from this link which I will be keeping in the description box. Thanks for watching.